Let's take a good hard look at the first 10 seconds. Not the 10 seconds before you have that peanut butter and fluff sandwich that you always wanted, or maybe that Subway sandwich that you always wanted to taste. No, that's not what I'm talking about. We're not talking about food here. We're talking about the 10 seconds before you talk that actually makes you nervous. We are going to have some serious fun. This is what it's all about. We're going to have a good time right here, right now, on the show. Welcome aboard to the Voices of Victory channel. I am your host, Mario Leone. Don't forget to click the Patreon link below, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to break it down today. We're going to go over the 10 seconds before you talk that actually make you nervous. We are talking about social anxiety. And guess what? This is important for you to know. Social anxiety really starts way before you even open your mouth. It's almost like you're reading subtitles to the other person, but that's not what we're talking about. It actually is happening all in your head. That's where it's happening. So if you actually take a moment to just sit there for a few seconds and calm yourself in the first few seconds, then the good news for you is anxiety never gets a chance. It never gets a chance to increase. It never gets a chance to grow. And most of all, it never gets a chance to bother you. Your body is indeed working all the time. It's going to work real fast in social situations, especially when something's wrong. When something goes off, your brain's like, uh-oh, we got a problem. Danger, Will Robinson. This is happening. If you don't know the reference, make sure you check out 70s television shows. Now, that being said, let's have some fun and go a little further. You could actually really put a halt on the entire process and stop it all when you observe. You take a moment to observe what you're thinking and look outward instead of inside of your head. Now, something I've learned in sports psychology is when people choke in sports psychology, they're actually in their mind and not actually in the process of doing their sport. So if I'm serving in tennis and I'm focused on serving and the mechanics of serving, and I'm walking myself through the serve with some self-talk, then I execute really beautifully. And if I do that 1,000 times, I'll have great execution, right? But the choke happens when the player goes inside their head. That's where it kicks off. So this works for social anxiety as well, is that the moment you are inside your head, the moment you are thinking in your mind, instead of actually looking outward, then you will invoke anxiety socially. Social anxiety, right there. So you want to stop it all by observing what is on your mind and go outward. Pay attention to your reality, the eye contact, and the other things. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So when people are experiencing certain things, it's going to actually make them nervous. It's going to be difficult. Let's break it all down. You could almost understand the social anxiety is that your mind is literally moving way faster than the actual situation is going down. Now, I've seen this before. The people that speak the fastest are the ones that actually fall into social anxiety the quickest. So it's my recommendation to slow your speech down first and foremost. We have to start somewhere. That's where we're going to start. So the main problem is not really the conversation that you're having. It's not that entire array of what is being discussed. It happens when you're in your head right before it. Right before you decide to have the conversation, you're in your mind. So if you do catch it, and you catch it early, and you totally settle into your emotions, you settle into yourself, just for a few seconds, you say, you know what, before I begin to speak, I want to take a moment. And you actually just sit there in your feelings. And that anxiety, it doesn't get bigger. It only gets bigger when you're in your mind. But you should be concerning yourself about the outer execution. Communication is a practice. You can use social situations as your practice. I remember years ago, I worked in customer service, many years ago. And as a result, I told myself that every person I meet with is going to be like a workout machine. That every conversation I have will be an opportunity to work out my communication. So every morning when I wake up, in my phone, on my notes, I would put communication phrases and things that I can improve. And then all throughout the day, every transaction, I would speak and work with people. And if there was an opportunity to use it, I would actually use it. And that's how I practiced the communication. And that's how I got better. Just like anything else, you work out enough, the muscle grows. So I want to share with you, it's not about that conversation. It is about what your body is actually doing, okay? When you're talking to someone, your body can totally flip a switch like something is wrong, even when there's nothing wrong. Your heart rate just goes pow, straight up, and your breathing gets all heavy. So your mind starts scanning for problems and danger, but this is not logic. It's a body reaction that you're used to. It doesn't ask if you're safe, and it doesn't give a shit. It just reacts. That's all it does. And your thoughts, when you try to explain things or you try to explain that feeling, it can actually make it worse. So what actually helps in the moment if that's the case? Well, first of all, don't get in an inner civil war with your thoughts. Don't start fighting with your thoughts. Understand the difference between your thought, what's in your skull, and what you feel in your body. Because if you are concentrating on your thoughts, it's usually just going to make it more exaggerated than it needs to be. Do something very simple, very easy to do. Notice what your mind is actually saying to you. But guess what? The good news is you don't need to chase it. You don't need to follow it down the path. You're just going to move your attention outward. Look at the person's face. Make eye contact with them. Notice what they're saying. Notice the entire room. Be present in your conversation. Listen to their actual words instead of the story that's actually going on in your head. It's all about being present in your reality, using your outer reality to guide you through things. That's where it's important. When you go from inside your head to outside in the actual moment, in the process of what you're doing, then the beauty of everything is you're no longer living in your skull and your conversation now has a direction. It's going to help you. It's going to help you so much so. I promise you, it'll help you from spiraling down to actually spiraling up and making you grow as a person. So here's the deal. Social anxiety, it feels Herculean, it feels large, it feels big, it feels like a giant task. But guess what? A lot of that social anxiety is literally happening in a very small span of time. And if you start focusing on the outer world rather than your inner mind, you're going to be able to convey. This is that difference between the sports person choking. Even the expert can choke. And they can choke because they're in their head and they're not in the process of what they're actually doing. So that few seconds where you actually put the brakes on and slow down, and you could even slow your speech. You could also ask, say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a moment to rephrase myself. And pause for a few seconds, rephrase what you want to say, and convey it. You get another chance. You can buy yourself another chance. The few seconds before you speak actually decide a whole lot. But if you're constantly thinking in your head, what are they thinking? Do they like me? Do they not like me? You know, the whole inner critic bit. You're living in your mind. You're not in your reality. And you need to stay present in that reality. Stay in that conversation. Make that eye contact. Breathe slowly. If you have to speak a little slower, do so. No big deal. Because the whole interaction is going to change. It's going to change in a beautiful shape. And it's not because your fear just decided to melt away or your fear decided to go away or somehow there was no fear. No, it's because you yourself, you were in your body, you were in the process of the whole entire conversation. You were being present and you didn't have to feed your nervousness from the start. That's all I'm going to say. Don't forget to click on the link below. And of course, check out my Patreon, because you know it's all about growing together on this channel. This was the 10 seconds before you talk that make you nervous. So have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.